Hello, Madonna. My name is Hannah. They call me the Mighty 9-Volt. It's been a long time in the making to put it all together, timing right, to tell you this story. And hopefully we can work together in the future. I have a script, because you know, you have to stay focused. Watch out for the crickets. They'll get you. So, in 1984, I was 11. This is when MTV Music Awards, the first one, and you know how that goes. So, I have to say that that was like the beginning, I guess. I had your pictures from magazines across all 4 walls of my bedroom, around my waterbed, up into the ceiling. And then I used to dress up in the Madonna style. You know, sneak out of my house, the little jealousies, take them out nice and slow. Sneak out without my mom knowing. I'm in Naples, Florida, in a very wealthy neighborhood, but we're living on welfare, free lunch, food stamps. My mother's working really hard. So I would sneak out and I would walk the streets. And it was like just being that, embodying that. And I think I might have done that for about a year. I don't know, I must have snuck out about 8 times, maybe. So then, my 13th birthday, I had a Madonna look-alike contest. So I bought all the pins and the posters and I don't even know what else. And I invited all my girlfriends. This one girl shows up with the jacket you had out, the boots you had out, looking like, whoa. So I gave her all the prizes. She won everything. So we were all just something like Madonna. We played Madonna, 13 years old. At this time, I was a roller skater. So I'd been roller skating since I was 4 years old. And I continued to roller skate until 10th grade. So I used to win all the speed skates, shoot the duck, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, so that was kind of like my first dancing, was the roller skating sort of thing. So then time moves on. We moved to Fort Myers, and my mother's, you know, she's working really hard, 2 jobs, you know, doing astrology to make ends meet while she trains to be a paramedic. So she was gone a lot, so I had all this freedom. Well, time goes on, time goes on. I don't even realize that there's a possibility I could see a show. So I missed the Blonde Ambition tour, but I was there with you in spirit somewhere along the line. So time goes on. Let me check my notes real quick. You were always an influence throughout the days. So I was always an athlete. I did 10 years volleyball, 6 years beach volleyball. I was one of the first jump servers that ever was. 10 years softball. One of the first people they taught to do the windmill. And all-star shortstop and pitcher. And then we moved again. So we moved to South Carolina. And I saw that the sports programs were not very good, so to speak. So I kind of went into the rebel land, the delinquent land, and you know, kind of found myself, got into Pink Floyd, that type of thing. And at 20 years old, I started surfing with my brother, Sylvan Newby. And I decided that I needed to move. I surfed for 1 year up and down the coast. And I decided I wanted to move somewhere that had warm water, good waves, year-round. So I almost moved to California, but I ended up in Maui. So I spent almost 9 years in Maui and surfed for a good 8 of those years, and I look forward to surfing again in the future. So sports always kind of got my energy out, but I was always dancing. This whole time I would go to every show, every concert, every house party, throwing parties, like out of control. So then I'm living on the south side of Maui at the time, and I hear Drowned World Tour. all I know is you had a bunch of kids, and I thought that maybe you weren't going to do it anymore. So I was like going to get to that show no matter what. I used to tell people I lost a year off of my life getting tickets for that show. So it was in Vegas, and I guess it was 2001. I don't know. But during that show, I mean, it was a wild weekend. It was not only the Madonna show, but it was Tommy Lee's Pimpin' Ho Party, the Magic Conference, the stripper convention, and it was Labor Day weekend or Memorial Day weekend, something like that. It was crazy. So much was going on. I could not get enough water, and I was screaming. It's the first night I ever wore combat boots, and now I've been wearing New Rock boots since then. And I lost my voice after your show. So much that I had to go, when I got back to Maui, I had insurance. I went to see an ENT doctor. He had to put the video recorder down my throat and video record to see if there's any damage in there. There was something going on there. It was like little things, so I had to go back and do it again. By the way, don't ever let anybody do that to you. It's the worst thing ever. Then he sent me to a speech therapist. Ever since then, my voice got raspy. And I didn't figure it out at first. But I realized later in hindsight that you actually gave me my voice. So since then, everybody's like, oh my God, I love your voice. I can hear you anywhere. It's like super loud. It's just like the best voice ever. And now I realize I can sing. So you like took away my voice, but you actually gave me my voice, which is such a trip. So now I decide I'm in Maui, and I'm like, if I don't get off Maui, I'm going to be a waitress for the rest of my life. I have got to get an education. So I hightail it out of there, and I head to Miami. And I went to school at the Art Institute for Fashion Merchandising. 4.0, won 2 awards, and met the love of my life at school. So in 2005, I graduate. The whole time I was in school, I was in the club scene. You know Miami. I was like 5 nights a week in the club scene, 30 years old, no sleep. Only thing that mattered was my GPA. Did that. Oh my gosh, Miami. Amazing. So then I took a break from the clubs. Always hip-hop and breaks. Hip-hop breaks. And so I met the love of my life. I wanted to go to California. That was the plan. But his family was from Miami, and he was still in school. So I told him, if you promise me, Frankie Helix, Mr. Frank Tomas Garcia, if you promise me that you'll move to California with me one day, I will wait for you. So 6 years go by. Now within those 6 years, I went to see your reinvention tour with my great friend from high school. And she was the one I actually went to the Drowned World tour with. And we toured up. And also, before I left to move to California, of course, I'm in Oakland right now. I want to be in Berkeley. I went to see your Sticky and Sweet tour at the Dolphin Stadium. And I was in section B, and all of a sudden some guy gives me a ticket, section A, second row. So for the last 3 songs, I was right with you. Sticky and Sweet. Love it. I was dancing my ass off. So, time goes on. I am part of a Burning Man community in Florida that does an event called Afterburn and Preheat. There's 2 a year in Burning Man style. And it was really important to me to go to this event before I moved, to be with my friends, But I got an inkling to research your body of work. So I went back to all your old interviews with the real short blonde hair. So cute, you're just talking about how it was okay, you just really wanted to be loved, and that was really beautiful. And then I went through the Rupert Everett series that you did, and some other old interviews. And then I pushed forward to your documentary and your current body of work of your humanitarian, your cause. And I was blown away. I watched the documentary